welcome to my very delayed AEW Dynamite and also for various reasons Crown Jewel preview. Yeah, so it was meant to be this morning, and basically it's ended up being 2 o'clock, and then I've managed to get on just shy of 2:15. Very sorry. It's been absolutely manic today with various things I've been doing with filming, uh, work, life, family, love, and the universe. So, yes, I do apologise about it being slightly late. I've literally just finished watching Dynamite as well. I started watching it early this morning and then got derailed by a load of nonsense, basically. So, just finished watching it, got all my notes ready, and I have a Crown Jewel, I wouldn't say a preview, but kind of like a prediction list basically, because obviously they've announced the 5 matches now, and I'll discuss that after AEW. First things first. This live stream will obviously be on YouTube videos, probably be processed by tomorrow morning, I would have thought. And then subsequently, the YouTube podcast, which is Geek Boy Does Wrestling, will be on just after, at the same time, basically, so you can listen to it on audio and stuff. So, yeah. I'll talk to you about some stuff that I'm getting up to this weekend as well, and other stuff that's coming up with the channel. Very quickly, swig of water for the working man. Always need the water. Yeah, so we'll get into it, shall we? So, if anyone obviously has missed the time for the live stream, I can see a couple of people have been asking when I'm on. Again, my apologies. If you can't make it now, obviously the video will be available tomorrow. So just leave any comments or thoughts that you've got there, basically, and we'll get into it. So, basically, at the start of Dynamite, Tony Schiavone came out and introduced Hangman Adam Page and Samoa Joe to the crowd because they had it at Daly's place, because they were obviously back in Jacksonville where AEW's like base because of the Khans owning the Jacksonville Jaguars and all that business. And he gave the mic to obviously Hangman and Samoa Joe came into the ring, gave the mic to Hangman. Hangman was basically like, you've just done all this to basically get yourself a world title shot because you've let yourself slip and you're not the Samoa Joe you once were. Samoa Joe sort of countered that by saying, well, you're just a paper champion. I thought it was a really good point, actually. You do these matches on the night where you give someone a chance, where you've basically had time to prepare and the other person hasn't prepared. I thought that was a really good line to throw in, actually. It was a bit weird how they gave the mic back to Hangman and then like didn't let Joe respond. I don't know if that was deliberate, but it was. Other than that, it was a really good promo segment. Really enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing Joe versus Hangman. I've actually been wanting this match for a while. Apparently, Hangman's never defeated Joe. Now, I don't know if anyone can let me know in either now or in the comments after. I don't recall Joe and Hangman actually having a match. But obviously AEW has been going on for 6 years, so maybe I've just forgotten. Maybe they had a random match on Dynamite or whatever that I've just completely forgotten about. But yeah, I've been saying for a while that they need to bring Joe back at that sort of level. Like, obviously he's a world-class wrestler, and with the greatest respect to the Ops, you don't waste talent like Samoa Joe. He needs to be at the upper end of the card. I don't know whether that means he's going to split with the Ops or whatever, but I would have Joe now going up against your Swerves, your Ospreys when they get back, Okadas, Kenny Omega, and so on and so forth, because he is at that level, and I don't think he should be. I don't want to say dealing with mid-carders because that's a bit unfair to Powerhouse and to Shibata, but who are both very good wrestlers, but Joe is just a little bit a cut above. So that's the way it started. The first match was Jon Moxley against Ishii, and I can never pronounce his surname, so I'm not going to butcher it. I tell you what a fantastic match. It was really good. It might actually end up between WWE and Dynamite this week, end up being my favourite match. Obviously, I've not seen Crown Jewel yet because it's not happened. It's not for 3 days. But it was so good. It was so good. Proper violent, gritty, bloody. I love the way that Ishii kicked out a couple of times from like Mox's biggest finishers. There was like this insane pile driver that Mox did on Ishii that looked really rough and really gnarly. Um, and at the end, Mox sort of wins by tapping out Ishii, but they kind of did the Stone Cold finish where Ishii didn't actually tap out. And he just basically passes out and the referee calls it. I thought that was a really good way to end it. Obviously, building into Mox's match against Darby Allin, which is an I Quit match. So it kind of puts the seed of doubt in it. It's like, well, you got him to tap out, but you got him to pass out, but he didn't tap out, and he didn't give up. So that puts a bit of a seed into the doubt because honestly, that the Mox Darby Allin, I think this could end up being like as gnarly as a death match. I think this could be really, really horrendous, like good horrendous. I mean, like I actually saw live in London John Moxley cutting open Darby Allin's face with like a fork or a knife or whatever the bloody hell it was. So yeah, it's gonna be gnarly, it's gonna be violent, it's gonna be rough, and I'm here for it. So yeah. Yeah, that was an excellent match. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, the Death Riders came out a bit later, but I'll get onto that. Then there was the Hurt Certificate against the Demand. Tell you what, was actually not as good as the other match, but that was really, really good. Bear me a second. Apologies again. I always need water, like I said. Yeah, it was just proper like a proper street fight. I mean, there was no like scientific wrestling involved in it. It was just steel chairs, smacking people into concrete against the ring posts, headbutts, everything you could possibly think of. There was this chair shot that Khan made to Lashley, which he's basically running along and he's about to do like a spear onto Toa. I think his name is. I can't quite remember his name. Apologies if I've got it wrong. And he does this spear. And basically, Khan ends up getting the chair and smacking Lashley's head with the chair as he's in mid-flight for the spear. That was really gnarly. There was Shelton Benjamin, by the way. Shout out to Shelton. He was really, really good in this. Like some of the kicks, and he did this high knee to I think it was Bishop Khan, it might have been Ricochet. I can't quite remember, but the impact of this knee shot was outrageous. It was like a bloody UFC strike. It was really, really good. Yeah, and basically at the end, the Hurt Syndicate get Bishop Khan and Toa out of the ring, leave Ricochet exposed, and then they basically assault Ricochet and beat the living crap out of him. And then leave him in the ring and get the 1, 2, 3. So the Hurt Syndicate went over. Do you know what? I'm actually quite pleased for Ricochet as well. I'm glad he's got. I still don't think he's as high enough in the card as he needs to be, but I'm glad he's kind of got something to sink his teeth into now, because he obviously is a world class talent. After the Joe match, I'd actually quite like to see Ricochet maybe definitely not go over on Hangman, don't get me wrong, but I'd like to see them maybe build Ricochet up to the point where, because obviously he's got stable now, and build him up to the point where he could sort of challenge like Hangman, or maybe even go into the ring with a. I mean, it'd be different with Okada, obviously, it's heel versus heel, but I guess you could still do it. Put it this way, I'd like him to go for a championship, because I think he does need a belt, because his run was getting a bit samey. I actually really liked what is it I call it? Michael Douglas falling down Ricochet, as in like when he goes absolutely mental in that car in the film in '93, and Ricochet kind of based his character on that when he stabs Swerve Strickland in the head with that screwdriver or whatever it was, and yeah, I really really like that character, and like he's got into this whiny chicken something heel thing, which I'm not totally keen on because I just don't think it suits him at all. The psychopath character I was quite interested in, but he's kind of turned it around now, and he's doing some good work with the Gates of Agony. So, yeah, that I think that faction is getting over, and that will help him last night as well. But yeah, the match overall not as good as the Mox one, but very good nonetheless. You had the you'll have to forgive me. Jack Perry and Luchasaurus won their match, And as I was coming upstairs, I neglected to write down who the match was against. So I'm very, very sorry, but they won the match. Basically, it was only like a 3 or 4 minute match. They dominated the whole thing. And then the Young Bucks, who were weirdly sat in the crowd with two children, who it turns out apparently weren't their children, which is a bit weird. Also, they have no money apparently in the storyline, and yet they were able to buy tickets, which presumably in America are about 70, 80, $90, maybe a bit more than that. And then they were also allowed to waltz into the crowd without security threatening them and attack Luchasaurus and Jack Perry and then challenge them for a match at what is it, at Wrestle Dream, which is kind of defying logic to a certain extent. But look, it's pro wrestling. It doesn't. I mean, it very rarely follows logically, does it? But it was kind of like that's a bit weird for my taste. But hey ho. Next we have who do we have next? We have Kyle Fletcher versus Kyle O'Reilly. Match was okay. Um, it was a decent match. I just I don't. I've written in my notes, and I know it sounds a bit weird that there were just too many kicks because there was a period of time when O'Reilly hit Fletcher with a super kick, and then Fletcher responded with a super kick, and I think there was something like 4 or 5 in a sequence over the space of 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm kind of like I'm a bit old school. Like a super kick back in the day was a finishing move. Obviously, it was Shawn Michaels, and a lot of other people used it before then. And now the super kick's just become like a move. It's like the DDT back in the day, because obviously Jake the Snake Roberts used to use it as a finisher, and now everyone just uses a DDT, which is a shame because back in the day, I know I'm old, but like when Jake Roberts hit that DDT, it was honestly it was so good. But yeah, it's just a minor complaint. It was a decent match, but Kyle Fletcher still keeps the TNT title. Now on to the disappointment. The Mercedes Moné versus Lacey Lane in the end. Now, no offense to Miss Lane, I'm not familiar with her work, and she seems like a very good, competent wrestler. Got a good look, decent personality. She got her stuff in. She was quite decent in the match, but AEW last week sort of dropped this thing with Mercedes promo where she was like, I want to face someone from Florida. And you had all sorts of people going, well, obviously there's Shotzi. I think Kelly's from Florida. There was Alicia Fox. And there, I think DMD is resident in Florida. Maybe, I'm not totally sure. But the whole point was, it was like, they'd kind of built it into this thing where who's it going to be, and then all of a sudden it's like I felt quite sorry for Lacey Lane actually, because she sort of came out and everyone was like, "Oh, I just don't know." It just didn't put her in the best of positions, to be honest. And the crowd afterward, but it was probably because it was like early this morning. Maybe I've got the crowd wrong, but the crowd just seemed to be like, "Oh, right, okay, fair enough," which is a bit of a shame because I thought Lacey was all right in it, but basically Mercedes went over. It was a decent match, nothing to write home about, but yeah, Mercedes keeps on rolling. I just wish AEW wouldn't do that, because there's been quite a few times where they've done, here's this big special surprise or a Tony Khan announcement and so on and so forth, and then they announce like, we're having a pay-per-view in I don't know, um San Francisco, and then that's it, and you're like, what, seriously? So yeah, I really wish AEW would stop doing that unless they have a very 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 big surprise. um but yeah, no, it is what it is. So Mercedes went over. You had Brodido versus Okada and Takeshita. That was quite interesting because basically I think the stip was Brodido, if they win, one of them would get a title match against Okada for the Unified Championship. I think that's what Okada holds anyway. Um, and then, because it was a bit weird, because I was thinking, right, well, how the hell did they decide that? Because surely against Takeshita, no disrespect to Bandito, but surely you'd have to let Brody King go for it. And if Brody King was to beat Okada, for example, then like, well, what happens then? Does he keep both titles? I mean, it was perfectly obvious Okada and Takeshita were going to go over, and obviously they did in the end. There was this really sick move that Takeshita did, where let me just have a look what it was, because I've completely forgot. Oh, he did this German suplex on Brody King. So he's got Brody sort of under him. He picks him up by the waist. Obviously, Brody obviously he's an athlete, but he's a big, big bloody bloke. And he sort of rises and then German suplexes him over his head from like a sort of starting position. And it was just like, wow, this kid is so strong. I mean, obviously, sometimes Takeshita does look really, really good. They're sort of built into the miscommunication with Okada and Takeshita, where they were like, one tried to tag the other in. Takeshita accidentally super kicked Okada off the top rope. I mean, obviously they are building towards a match between both of them, so I would imagine at some point in the next month, Takeshita is going to get thrown out of the Don Callis family, and they kind of did a repeat of the finish to the LA Knight CM Punk Usos match the other night, where Takeshita had done all the work, and then basically Okada tags himself in and basically hits Brodito with the Bandito. I think it was with the Rainmaker. I'm fairly sure it was. And then gets the 1-2-3. And Takeshita was absolutely livid. I thought the announcers could have played into it a bit more, because Takeshita just starts pushing Okada and he just walks off. And then the camera pans away, and you'd think they'd have Don Callis in the background, like, well, trying to separate them and stuff. And he was just like, yeah, whatever. And I was kind of like, well, if you're building towards that, could you not maybe make a bit more of a deal of it? I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Taz, Brian Danielson, and Excalibur, I finally remembered his name. I think they are such a good commentary trio. I am a fan of a two-man booth. I've never been a massive fan of the three-man booth. But yeah, they've been excellent so far, but I just thought they could have played into that a little bit more. I'm just looking at the last bits of my notes. There was backstage with FTR and Willow, which was a bit meh. Just talking about how they hated each other and stuff. And then we get to the end. Like I said, there wasn't. It's a bit weird with Dynamite the last couple of weeks. I usually end up talking about it for the same length as I do for Raw, but it was a good show, but it was kind of like there was stuff that happened on it, but it wasn't massively earth-shattering to the point we were talking about it for hours. So yeah, I mean, I ended up getting through most of Dynamite because obviously I've got to like fast forward it and stuff because of time constraints and work and this, that, and the other. But yeah, it was kind of like I suppose the best way of describing it is I really enjoyed an hour of it, but there was another hour of it that I could probably get away with not watching, and I could just basically fast forward it. But yeah, so they ended with Orange Cassidy against Pac. That was a decent match, actually. Did enjoy it. The one thing that I've noted, well, first of all, there was this pile driver that Pac did to Orange Cassidy in the actual crowd. So there's no protection, there's no padding, there's no bugger all basically. And he just drops him on his head on like the crowd sort where you've got seats and where you've got the sort of walkway where you walk down. He sort of drops him on his head there, and it looked really, really vicious. But to be fair, Pat does really look really good since coming back. The one thing that stood out to me though, and I know this shouldn't be a thing, and obviously if you're listening on YouTube sounds, you're not gonna know what I'm talking about. So if you are listening, just basically maybe have a look at an image or whatever. The outfit Pac was wearing, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It looked. I don't even have the words. He sort of had black ring trunks, or black jeans and black shoes, but then he had this sort of black leotard, I think, that was tucked into his trousers, but then you could see all his muscles and stuff. I don't know. It just looked really, really odd on him because I mean, I think if Pac had still had his long hair, it kind of would have been okay. But the fact he's got his short hair kind of thing, it just looked really, really odd. I mean, Pac is a Newcastle United fan. Maybe it's a tribute to Newcastle. I've got no idea, but it just looked really, really odd. So I kind of hope that he does not wear that going forward and returns to his shorts, but we will have to wait and see. Um, it was a bit weird at the end because basically they ended up in that area where Orange Cassidy had been dropped on his head, but then Pac tried to walk away, but just underneath the crowd area, you see Darby Allin and he's got these handcuffs, and somehow he managed to get Pac's hand from underneath the ring or underneath the stage, grab Pac's hand, and then also managed to tie it to the actual post that was next to the arena steps. And I'm like, again, I know it's pro wrestling, and obviously it's predetermined, and we all know this. Blah blah. There's got to be a sense of disposition and stuff. Um, but being able to hook some bloke's hand, grab it, and then tie it to a post from underneath the ring when you can see what he's doing is. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looked all right, but I was kind of like, well, Pac's a big, strong lad. I mean, surely in real life he would just wrench his hand away, but I don't know, maybe that's just me overthinking it. Anyway, so he's sat there. Orange makes his way back into the ring because he's still like fuzzy and everything with the pile driver, but he manages to get back in. Pac just about manages to get back in. He actually does a double flip over the ropes, gets in, and then Orange hits him with the orange punch, and it's 1, 2, 3, and Orange goes over. So hopefully they're building Orange up for something. I don't know if it's going to end up being a conglomeration against the Death Riders. I'm not a massive fan of the conglomeration, if I'm honest. I like Orange on his own, and I do like Kyle O'Reilly and Willow, but like it just seems to be a very weird thrown together group, which is obviously the idea of the conglomeration. They're just like a group of misfits and this, that, and the other, but it doesn't really work for me, basically. They also announced that next week, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this because I usually cover Dynamite on Thursday and it was Title Tuesday. That's probably why a lot of people aren't watching as usual because, like I said, I've got most of my live stream scheduled for AW Dynamite on Thursday, so I've had to change it to Wednesday, obviously because it was Title Tuesday. But next week, apparently on AW Dynamite, they are doing a 3, possibly 4 hour show. So they're doing 2 hours of Dynamite and then possibly an hour to 2 hours of Collision, which is going to be brutal because I don't know how I'm going to end up watching all that. To be honest, I'll have to see what I can do, but I might just have to review it on like Thursday night instead of Thursday morning because I just don't think that's going to be possible. Due to work constraints and various other things. But yeah, so we're getting like a 4 hour Dynamite. Now, I'm assuming that Collision will then replace the Saturday night Collision, which makes me wonder if it's got something to do with WWE. I don't know if they're doing Saturday night's main event. I mean, I know WWE obviously are at Crown Jewel, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, but unless there's a, I don't know, like an NBA game or a big football game or something like that, I'm not sure why they're doing it. But they have to do these 4 hour blocks occasionally, so we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, at the end, Darby Allin basically comes out, and I mean, I know Darby's done some insane things, but this has to take the biscuit. He basically got a bottle of wine, a rag, some some kind of lighter blazed fluid, and basically made Molotov, was going to make a Molotov cocktail and throw it at the Death Riders. And it was really weird actually because there was a security guard who actually speared Darby, and I thought, what, for 1 second, oh hello, is this a new member of the Death Riders? Because this is a big bloke. I mean, I'm assuming he's a wrestler, maybe he's a developmental or something like that. But the spear that Darby took, I was just like, was that meant to happen? Kind of thing. And then the wine glass got the wine bottle went all over the place, and the Death Riders were like running away and this, that, and the other. But yeah, it was really odd. I mean, you're now getting to the point of like people's faces getting cut open, Molotov cocktails, just utterly bizarre things that they're doing to each other. Which obviously, if they happened in real life, well, put it this way, they wouldn't be wrestling again the next week. But again, you've got to use your sense of disposition. That's not even a phrase, is it? your sense of disbelief when you go into wrestling. Like, obviously, I know Darby Allin and Mox, the way they wrestle isn't everyone's cup of tea. I really enjoy it, but I just think sometimes when they go not over the top, because look, pro wrestling's violent, so I mean, it's each their own. But I don't mind violence in wrestling. I'm a lad from the Attitude Era. I used to watch Stone Cold Steve Austin getting crucified on large crucifixes, and like Mae Young giving birth to hands, and Triple H doing the thing he did with Katie Vick, and so on and so forth. So that I'm not going to be shocked by anything, because I lived through that era. But it kind of got to make sense, and I'm not sure about a Molotov cocktail. I mean, fair play for giving it a try, but it's kind of like, I don't know if that's going a bit too far in terms of what the wrestlers can survive, is what I'm getting at basically. But yeah, fair play to Darby. He is really good, Darby Allin. Really enjoy. I love his passion. I love his commitment to the business. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that match. I should be covering it, fingers crossed, if I can afford to buy the pay-per-view, which is a bit sketchy at the minute. But yes, you guys don't need to know about that. Anyway, so that was basically the AEW portion of the show. Sorry about the water, folks. Again, if you listen on YouTube sounds, I do apologise. I know I'm getting, still not getting very good at this, but I have to take sips of water while I'm doing this. So, let me just answer a couple of these. East 83. Are you ethnically Indian? Nope, I am Ghanaian British. Hoodrich, Javonta Davis, or Jake Paul? I don't watch boxing, my friend, so I've got no idea. So I'm not a fan of the Pauls, so I'm going to go with Davis, which is probably wrong, so I don't know. Yeah, so just moving on then from AEW to... All right, Johnny, you're all right, pal. Just going on to Crown Jewel then, because that's the AEW portion of it. Like I said, just before I finish, AEW, I usually give a grade. I'll give it a B minus. I thought the show was okay. I didn't think it was anything spectacular. I think AEW have had quite a few of those recently. Like I said this on last week's Dynamite show, that I just think at the moment AEW are going for a bit of a thing where obviously they've lost Will Ospreay, they've lost Swerve Strickland, Omega's not around at the minute. He's been storyline written out. It was weird actually as well, because they didn't really follow up on Andrade. Like, I don't know if the stream I watched, because like I said, whenever I watch it on this app thing. I can never remember what the damn thing's called, Fight or something like that. I don't know if it's an English thing, but I didn't see Andrade last night, and I was like, why are we not building on that for? That's quite strange. I mean, I don't know if it was a one and done, maybe, but he did join the Don Callis family. Obviously they've just lost Adam Copeland as well. He's shooting Percy Jackson, I believe, in Canada, so he's now not available. Christians now doesn't seem to be there either, so they've lost a huge amount of talent, at least in the male ranks. So and obviously we still don't know what's going on with DMD, but I doubt very much where she's going to come back. So they are missing quite a bit of talent at the minute. Obviously they've brought back Pac and Orange Cassidy, but obviously with the greatest respect to both of them, I don't mean this rudely, that you can't really use those guys to replace Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. I mean, those are the two big misses, unfortunately. So, but hopefully those guys will be back. So I know Ospreay's had surgery and he's meant to be rehabbing, and I think he had his surgery about 3-4 weeks ago. So hopefully, maybe Christmas Ospreay comes back. I honestly don't know. And where Swerve's gone, I mean, presumably he's doing stuff with his recording or whatever. So yeah, hope they get back soon anyway. So yeah, after Dynamite, I'll just do my Crown Jewel preview because it's kind of a double up today. The reason being, folks, is I basically have run out of time before the weekend. I was going to do Crown Jewel like a separate preview tomorrow, but I'm going away for the weekend and I'm doing lots of filming. I've got a birthday to go to. I'm going to be in the Midlands for 3 or 4 days. There's probably going to be copious amounts of alcohol involved. Not for me, obviously. and just various shenanigans that I'm going to get up to in the next 4 days. So I do not have time to do a crown jewel thing. So I thought I'd just stick it on the end of this basically and just call it an AEW show and a crown jewel preview. So yes, apologies, but that's what you're getting. Just to say quickly as well before I start that, obviously I won't be on tomorrow because, like I said, I've still got to do loads of different things, including getting my brother's birthday card. Don't tell him. Which he's now probably heard because he watches me periodically. So yes, I won't be on tomorrow at all unless something dramatic happens. Which I don't think anything is likely to wrestling wise because we've had Dynamite, we've had Raw, and there's no SmackDown, and Liverpool are not playing, and that's probably a good job after the last 9 days. So yeah, the next time I'll be on will definitely I'll definitely be on Friday. I might be on a couple of times because, like I said, I'm going back to the Midlands, so I'm looking to go to a couple of football stadiums. I'm definitely going to Wolverhampton Wanderers because basically, long story short, it's on my way home back to Telford, where I'm from. So I'm going to stop off there, have a look around Molyneux, leave some tribute to like Diogo's mural there because he's got obviously one in the Midlands as well. I'm going to try and see if I can get to West Brom as well on the same day. And then on the way back, go to Birmingham City and also go to actually Birmingham to go shopping and look at geek shops basically. But I don't know how many of those things I'm going to get done. I don't know if that's going to be reversed. I might end up doing the Birmingham bit first and then doing the Wolves and Albion bit on the way because obviously there's no time pressure on the football stadiums. They're not going to just go up in the air and disappear. But obviously there's a pressure on the shops. Anyway, so yeah, I'll be on Friday for a couple of live streams. There'll be the Friday toy shorts that I usually put out. I think there's another vlog that I did and I can't remember what the hell it was now, but there will be something on as well. Saturday there'll be some toy shorts. There will be no WWE SmackDown review this week because that's on Friday, which is just before the birthday. And unfortunately, Crown Jewel happens to be on my brother's birthday in the middle of the afternoon when we are going to somewhere called Shrewsbury, which is in the kind of Wales, I don't know, Midlands border if you're not from the UK. So yeah, there'll be a Crown Jewel review. I'm hoping Sunday night, but again, I'm not sure about that given all the travelling. But I will definitely be reviewing, doing live reaction to Monday Night Raw because brilliantly and quite amazingly, because of Australian time, it's actually on in the UK at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, by some brilliant coincidence, I actually have the day off on Monday afternoon. My missus does not have the day off on Monday afternoon. She is working for 9 hours, and my son will be going to school and after school club, which means your boy can actually watch Monday Night Raw in peace and quiet. I may even do a watch along. I may even get some beers. Who knows? But yeah, I'll let you guys know about that. Anyway, going on to Crown Jewel. That's all my stuff that I'm doing the weekend. Oh, let me just answer this. King Mo, what's your thoughts on SmackDown? What was in last week? I'm just trying to think, King Mo. What even happened on SmackDown last week? I can just about remember what happened on Raw. Was that the one where Cody and Randy lost to the Vision, but then Seth ended up trying to do a curb stomp, I think, on Cody, but then Cody put him in the crossroads. Um, I think I enjoyed the show. Possibly, I can't remember. I wasn't able to cover SmackDown King Mo, to be honest, last week because of a reason, and I've completely forgot what the reason was. So, I did watch it. I can't remember too much of it, to be honest. But if you want to have a look at my review, I just did a live reaction for Monday Night Raw, which just came out this afternoon. I thought it was the best Monday Night Raw I've seen for months and months and months. I thought it was the best Raw of this year. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly entertaining. So that is up. But yeah, I thought it was great. Hello, Monster Vlog. How you doing, mate? You all right? But yeah, folks, like I said, my raw reaction is actually up on the channel as well if you want to check that out. But it was, I would say, it was an absolutely fantastic show. I loved it. It was absolutely superb. So yeah, let me have a look. I think Seth loses the World Heavyweight Championship. The backlash to Bron Breakker. I know, yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah, I actually think it could be before that, to be honest, the way Bron's going. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I definitely think they'll put the belt on Bron at some point. Who puts him over? I don't know. I mean, you would imagine by 2027, Cody must have turned heel by that point. I just don't think he can be going as a babyface forever and ever. Especially the crowd seems to be a bit, not 50-50, but he's kind of getting 70-30 reactions at the minute. So I do think Cody will turn heel. But yeah. And then at Rumble 2028, whoa, what's he go? Sammy beats Brod. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm just trying to get at 2025, dude. So I'm not on. I don't know about 2028, but we'll have to wait and see, lad. Right. So I'm going to do the Crown Jewel predictions just quickly. It's not going to take too long, obviously, because there's only 5 matches. But I'm just looking at my notes because I forgot the matches. Right, Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors. Right, my prediction is, and I'm guaranteed this is going to be wrong. Guaranteed this is going to be wrong. In fact, no, let me do the match order that I thought it was going to be. I think they'll start off with Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Very quick, this one. I think they'll give Bronson a hell of a rub, especially because it's his own city, his own country. But I would be astonished if Roman did not go over. That you can't have Roman. What I think he's lost his last couple of pay-per-view matches out of the last 4 maybe, and also got stretchered out last time. Um, yeah, for me, Roman goes over. I just don't see a world where Bronson Reed wins that. Maybe Bron Breakker comes out because Bron wasn't at Raw. I think he's doing press as well in Australia because Rhea's definitely over there. And I think Cody's over there. I think they're all flying over there pretty much now as we speak, the whole crew. So, um, yeah, I did. For me, Roman wins that. Just probably a spear and a Superman punch. 10-15 minute match, I would have thought. I am going to guess that the second match, because I think they'll just go up in levels, because obviously Roman will get the crowd going. I think the next one they'll want a bit of sweetener, not a sweetener, but like a something not as, I don't want to say not as important because obviously they're both very talented women, but I think Stratton versus Vakia, because it's not had a great deal of build up, goes on second. I'm not expecting anything else but a Tiffany Stratton win, to be honest. I think maybe they tease turning a heel a tad, but based on what, I don't know. I mean, I know there's this whole weird storyline now of that Kiana James and Julia, but whether that's going to play into anything, I don't know. I mean, maybe they turn Stephanie Vakir here. I mean, I wouldn't have thought so because she's really popular, but I'm going to go with Stratton to win that one. I think it'll be a really good match. I mean, I would prefer if Steph won, and I would like to see her a lot more on Raw or SmackDown because she just doesn't seem to have been featured. I know she's been ill recently, but as long as she's fit and raring to go, I really do hope that she's on Raw quite a bit more, but we'll have to wait and see. I've got the number 3 match as Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Now, this one, I actually put on a short yesterday that I would run down Swellham Road in my boxer shorts and run onto the pitch during a Leeds game if Cody Rhodes won this match. I'm going to stick with that. I'm also not going to carry that out because I don't think the universe and the world needs to see me in my boxer shorts. Excuse me. But yeah, I just because the fact that Heyman said he could leave, the Vision could leave. He's having problems kind of with Becky in that he's not listening to his wife, which is not helpful. And he because he's got this 3-0 record against Cody, I just do not see a universe where Seth does not win that match. I don't know if I'd have this as a prediction, and certainly not a spoiler. See what I did there. I do wonder whether Brock could come into play, possibly, because Heyman kept saying, "Don't worry, you will win," and Rollins is starting to look a bit rattled, like he's not really leading the group. I'm not saying that Brock's going to join the Vision because I don't see what the point. Well, I mean, I suppose he could do, but I just don't see what the point would be at that stage in his career. And he doesn't need to be in a group. Maybe as a little outside helper occasionally, but I wouldn't put money on it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Brock had something to do with it. Other than that, I don't know how they get through the match. Maybe Cody just put Seth over clean. I think that would probably be the best thing all around. But obviously he's a heel, so you would imagine it would have something to do with Bronson or Brock or Braun Breaker or something like that. Unless, of course, they're going to now mix it up in the Roman story. Excuse me, because obviously Rollins has now started mentioning Roman again, and so it's Cody, which I thought was quite interesting. Maybe they could start mixing the stories up. I don't know. I've got no idea, but I think for me, Cody goes over. Seth goes over. Match 4 I've got, I think it's going to be Rhea Ripley and Io versus the Kabuki Warriors, because I think, I could be wrong, but maybe they save Cena till last, possibly. I've probably got that completely wrong. Now I've said that Cena will be out first, but who knows. I'm going to stick with my prediction that Io Sky turns heel. Now, I really hope my prediction is wrong. I think my prediction is wrong, and I would be very pleased to know that my prediction is wrong, because I don't want to see a heel Io Sky. Obviously, I know she's played heel before in Damage Control, and I think with the Kabukis when she first came in, I can't quite remember, but I like face Io because she's honestly she's such a nice human being, and honestly, the work that woman has done in the last year has been sensational. I mean, for Worker of the Year, Io Sky across New Japan, TNA, WWE, AEW, Pro Rev Wrestling in UK, whatever, any promotion you see, CMLL, she has to be very close for Worker of the Year. The year that she's at, I mean, that match that she had with Rhea and Bianca at WrestleMania, that's the one. I mean, it was a sensational, and then the match she had against Rhea Ripley when Naomi cashed in. Honestly, those were two of the best matches of the year. I mean, they're going to go in my personal top 10 for the year, which I might do one of those actually. In fact, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a match of the year top 10 towards the end of the year. Please like and subscribe. So I'll have to go back and think of all the matches now. So, yeah, so that's what I'm going for. I reckon, just to really piss off the Australian audience, who I don't think will be hugely impressed with that outcome, but we'll have to wait and see. Last swig of water, I promise. And then the last match, I'm not going to go into too much. There is no way on the face of the earth AJ Styles beats John Cena. I think it will just be the feel-good moment. I would just have John win all his matches now, to be honest. I don't think... Yeah, because his heel run ended and he's kind of been ended himself by Brock, I don't think there's much point now in him starting anything. I would just have him have 3 matches, personally, after this. So I think he's on Raw November, and then he's on Raw on the 8th of December, and then his last match is on the 13th of December. So really, I mean, I would just send to all 3 shows around Cena, and I would just get as much out of him as you possibly can do now. If there's one night where he feels like having 2 matches or doing something like that, I mean, I'd love for him to do something really random, like a gauntlet match, just so you could get all those people. I mean, obviously he can win at the end, but all those people you wanted him to wrestle, like, I don't know, Jacob Fatu or Bron Breakker, Joe Hendry or something like that, I think that would be quite... I don't think they'll do that, obviously. I think that's just me being wishful thinking, but yeah, I would just have seen a wrestle 3 straight matches now. If I had to pick, I'm really looking forward to the AJ Styles match, because personally, in my opinion, I think that's his best ever match that he had with him at SummerSlam, when Cena went over. I think that was when he won the title for the 16th time. It was definitely one of the best Cena matches I've seen. I would just have him wrestle I'd love for him to wrestle Joe Hendry, and I'd love for him to wrestle Bron Breakker, but I just don't think that's going to happen now at this point. The only other thing that I have started thinking about with Cena is maybe Gunther, because he's just disappeared off the face of the earth. I mean, I know he was nursing an injury and he's due for a holiday and stuff, but I just wonder if it could be him. I just really hope they're not ending the whole things with free Brock Lesnar. Don't get me wrong, I like Brock as much as the next bloke and the next woman, but I just don't see what the point. I mean, Brock obviously overpowers Cena. Brock overpowers everyone in that locker room. As simple as that. I mean, if you look at that locker room, I just don't see anyone who could actually give Brock a run for his money, realistically. I mean, I'd say probably your most likeliest is Drew, and even he's going to be struggling against Brock Lesnar. I mean, maybe Jacob Fatu, but I just don't think they'd do that at the minute. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I've completely forgot what the point was I was making now, but never mind. I'm sure it wasn't important. Yeah, but maybe it's Gunther who does the last match. Perhaps it's The Rock. Roman Reigns is around. I suppose you could have Roman versus Cena, but they've already done that. Maybe it's just the one more match. It could just be a build to one more match. Who knows? I mean, I don't think it'll be good because obviously, technically, he's just retired Goldberg, and it's like, unless that's a thing, of course, where they're going to make that Gunther's gimmick that he retires legends. I know he's not retired him as such, but you know what I mean. I still think Cena will show up actually for one last appearance after his last appearance, maybe in January or something like that. I can imagine that they'll do something where they announce that Cena's going to be guest referee, like what Stone Cold did, and this, that, and the other. Because I don't think this will be the end, but I think he'll drop in and out like The Rock. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, long story short, I think John Cena goes over AJ Styles. Yeah, that's pretty much it, folks, for me. To be honest, let me just have a look. Then Jay comes out. Jay comes out at the end, shakes hand, and then super kicks Sammy. Yeah, that'd be good. And then at Mania 44, Jay and Sammy face. Wow, Monster Vlog, you're planning your life out, aren't you? And then there's one from Srinivas. Sorry if I've mispronounced your name. Beast, which I'm assuming is reference to the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Fair play. Sorry, there was no more swig of water. I apologise. Right, guys. I have a very tired, hungry child coming back from school in about 15 minutes, so I'm going to head off and leave you to enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thanks everyone for watching. It's been good to chat to you guys as always. Like I said, just to let you know again, in fact, I've got my diary just here and I can let you know what the schedule is. So, like I said, this weekend is Midlands weekend, so I'll be doing live streams, hopefully, fingers crossed, at West Brom, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Birmingham City. I'll be going to Birmingham, doing a couple of vlogs as well, from like geek toy shops and around the Birmingham area, because Birmingham is cool. And then I'll be going back home. Telford is home. And then on the way back, I'll do whatever out of that list that I haven't done yet, if you see what I mean. There'll be a Crown Jewel reaction show maybe Monday, early hours of Monday morning. I see. My plan is I'm hoping to get back from Telford at about 10 o'clock, watch the highlights of Crown Jewel, and then do a live reaction for it on sort of early hours of Monday morning. Then my plan is to get back up and then watch Monday Night Raw, which, don't forget, guys, that starts at 1 o'clock in the UK. It is not at like 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock UK time. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so I might even do a watch along, but it'll probably just be live reaction. I'll let you guys know. Next Tuesday will be the Liverpool podcast, which I have already entitled Liverpool Must Beat Manchester United, because that really fun game is on its way that I absolutely dread, unfortunately. So I'll be talking to you guys about that. Also, shout out to Jurgen Klopp. It was 10 years ago since he became our manager, so thank you, Jurgen. Thursday next week, it will be back to the normal AEW Dynamite, but like I said, it's a double with Collision, so I'll be reviewing basically AEW and Collision. Friday, it'll be Toy Shorts Friday again. Um, I think I've got a vlog. I'm not totally certain what it is I've got for next Saturday, Friday, because I've not made my notes. Saturday night, it will definitely be back to the late night SmackDown show, which should be from America, because I think they get come back from the States on like Wednesday or something. And then the Sunday, have I got the wrong week actually? No, I haven't got the wrong week. And then the Sunday, I know this is very childish. Providing we don't lose to Manchester United, there will be a reaction show to Liverpool versus Manchester United. If we lose to Manchester United, I will be doing no such thing, and I will be having a big tantrum in my room, and I will be telling my family to go away. If we do beat Manchester United, I will be doing live reaction with 2 bottles of red wine and shouting woo like Ric Flair, basically. So, yeah, that's everything that I've got coming up, guys. So, yeah, like I said, I won't be on tomorrow, but I'll be back with you on Friday. So, yeah, cool. Thanks everyone for watching. It's been emotional, and I'll see you guys hopefully in the Midlands on Friday. Watch wrestling. See you soon. Bye bye.